that the rebels would rue the day they conceived their evil plan to destroy our country and our freedom. That day has come.
On which the insurgents bombed early Friday. Fighting reportedly has left at least 10 people dead and 64 wounded. The rebels also control the Air Force headquarters, some broadcast stations, and at least part of Manila's international airport.
The most serious attempted coup d'etat against the government of the Philippine President Corazon Aquino was staged beginning December 1, 1989, belonging to the Reform the Armed Forces Movement, or RAM, and soldiers loyal to former President Ferdinand Marcos. Metro Manila was shaken by this Christmas coup, which almost seized the presidential palace. Aircrafts used. The North American Aviation T-28 Trojan is a piston-engine military trainer aircraft used by the United States Air Force and the Philippine Air Force. Besides its use as a trainer, the T-28D was also successfully employed as a counterinsurgency aircraft. The AUH-76. The rebels and the government forces both used the armed helicopters, which is derived from the S-76 utility choppers. These helicopters have the provision for armor, defensive avionics, guns, and rocket pods. The Northrop F-5. The F-5 is a family of supersonic fighters, initially designed as a privately funded project in the late 50s. There are two main models of the F-5s that the Philippine Air Force owned, the F-5A and the F-5B Freedom Fighters. Though primarily designed for a day air superiority role, the aircraft is also capable of ground attack platform. The McDonnell Douglas F-4 Phantom. The F-4 is a tandem two-seat twin-engine all-weather, long-range, supersonic jet interceptor that was originally developed for the United States Navy. It first entered service in 1961, and then it was also adopted by the United States Marine Corps and the United States Air Force. On 6:25 a.m., 3 Tora-Toras took off from Sangli, and the plane strafed and bombed Malacanang complex with machine gun fire and small bombs. The bombings were apparently intended to kill President Aquino, judging from the fact that what was hit was the intended place of safety for the president. The commanding officer at the Malacanang Park ordered all gunners of the armored infantry fighting vehicle to fire their 25mm anti-aircraft weapons at the attacking rebel planes. As soon as 7 a.m., 2 government F-5s were already scrambled to intercept the 3 Tora-Toras, but no dogfight occurred. Minutes after the 2 F-5s were scrambled, 2 Tora-Toras strafed the government troops in the vicinity of PTV-4. Minutes later, a rebel Sikorsky and Tora-Tora planes started bombing Camp Aguinaldo. Later on, government F-5 jets were seen encircling the rebel Tora-Tora planes in hopes of shutting them down. The 2 rebel Tora-Tora planes, augmented by a Sikorsky chopper, again attacked and bombed Camp Aguinaldo and Camp Crame. By 9 a.m., a government Sikorsky fired at rebel forces held up in Lodgecomb. Minutes after, Tora-Tora planes returned to Camp Crame and dropped 4 bombs. The buildings in Camp Aguinaldo and in Camp Crame were razed to the ground. By 10 a.m., a rebel Sikorsky chopper was hovering above Camp Aguinaldo and within delivered precision airstrikes, not once but twice. Minutes later, on the other side of the field, 3 F-5s fired their guns at the sea waters adjacent to the runway at Sangley Point. Their targets were the rebel T-28s. From this moment in time, the rebel air superiority are dwindling down. Hours passed when an F-5 piloted by Major Danilo Atienza took off to attack Sangley, and he destroyed the rebel planes and the fuel dump. The final dive on his final bombing run, which destroyed Sangley Point's oil depot, engulfed his F-5A by a fireball. Minutes passed when two more F-5s took off to attack Sangley and fired their cannons, strafed the fields, and bombed the hangars. He and two other combat pilots destroyed one rebel Sikorsky AUH-76 gunships, 7 rebel T-28s, and the fuel depot, depriving the rebel soldiers of air power. A rebel BN-2 Islander was also damaged during the strafing runs. Their actions turned the tide of the battle to the government's favor. By 1 p.m., a government Sikorsky made 3 rounds of airstrikes at rebel position near White Plains. Just 2 hours after the first 3 rounds of barrages of rockets and guns, 2 additional government Sikorsky once again rained hell over the White Plains area. Around 3 p.m. on the same day, 3 U.S. Air Force F-4s flew over Villamor Air Base on persuasion flights requested by President Aquino in hopes of stopping the coup. The first day of the aerial combat would come to a halt as the second day was approaching. As early as 6 a.m. on the second day, the 2nd of December 1989, when a government Sikorsky, paired by an F-5, made precision strikes at White Plains. 15 minutes later, another Sikorsky gunship made 3 bombing runs at the White Plains area. By 6:45 a.m., 2 F-5s made 2 airstrikes at the Katipunan-White Plains area. Unfortunately, the bombs hit the men of the 202nd BDE under Colonel Conanan, who were mistaken for rebels since they were also moving towards Boniserrano Street. During 7 a.m. to 7:15 a.m., 2 government F-5s each dropped bombs over Libis area, where rebel troops are located. Just before the morning was over, 2 government Sikorsky choppers once again made 2 airstrikes each over the next 7 hours at White Plains. The coup d'etat would rage on for several more days. Government forces would eventually win the battle, but at the expense of many lives lost, both civilians and soldiers.